The Miti River, today full of debris and pollutants, was once crystal clear.
The river used to be very different. If we flicked a few coins in, we could see them clearly. Our livelihood depends on this. We make our money by selling fish from the river, so the pollution is a real problem.
For generations, Vinayak Kohli and his family, who are members of the Kohli ethnic group, have lived and worked on the banks of the estuary, where the Miti River flows into the Arabian Sea in Mumbai. But since the early 80s, the river has taken a turn for the worse.
People throw all kinds of things into the Miti River. Household appliances, even biomedical waste like used syringes. They don't understand that we depend on this river for everything. I hope people stop doing this. They throw plastic bags in and so much other garbage that we can't even row our boats through it at times. Our path is blocked by large chunks of garbage floating around.
The 18-kilometre-long river is the dividing line between the city of Mumbai and its suburbs. "70% of its banks on both sides are occupied by slums, for whom the polluted river is the only source of water. Dharavi, which lies south of the Miti, is known as one of the world's largest slums. It's a hub for small-scale industries like tanning and waste recycling. Raw sewage, industrial effluent and other solid waste get dumped into the river indiscriminately and end up flowing downstream to the estuary, making it difficult for members of the Kohli community like Vinayak to fish.
Nobody looks at Miti as a river. The sense of ownership, the sense of belonging, the sense of pride that it was. If you go to the old timers, some even have photographs of paddy fields at the estuary of this river where we were standing. But sadly, nothing of that sort can be, it's very rare to see even some kind of fish also now, because it's only in the high tide when the fishes come in. And they also will retreat now. The loss of fisheries in the Miti estuary is a study which has to be done. You will find that we have lost almost all of it. 99% of whatever fisheries was being, the fisheries value of the estuary has gone away.
In view of the disastrous conditions, the fishermen have taken things into their own hands. Using an age-old practice, the Kohlis of Dharavi have manually built their own ponds, forming naturally enclosed areas. Here they can breed and catch their own fish. It's a simple yet ingenious strategy. To create the ponds, the fishermen have to remove the silt by hand and dam the seawater that flows into the estuary at high tide.
I was born in 1978. Up until then, our families had worked unrestricted in the estuary. When the city started urbanizing, more and more people moved here. Land was reclaimed to accommodate them. There was no space for us to fish. The first ponds in the community were built then.
आणि मत्स्य शेती इथे सुरू झाली.
There are 34 ponds today in the estuary. Unknown to most Mumbai residents, approachable only by boat and tucked away in the thick mangroves. The ponds have wire meshes at each entrance, which keep out the garbage flowing from upstream. The mangroves too act like a natural barrier. The difference is stark between the inky black water of the rest of the river and the lighter colour of the ponds, where the fish are thriving. A long-term solution, however, will be possible only once the Mithi is cleaned.
If you see, the Mithi river cannot get any worse. We have hit rock bottom. Let's be honest. There is a plan to get the Mithi river back in a way which will allow Mithi to become a recreation area, an area for leisure and nature tourism for the city, while simultaneously allowing the fishermen to have their stake in it.
The local government, however, has spent the last 13 years seeking to restore the Mithi after devastating floods back in 2005 ravaged everything on its banks, but to no avail. It's fishermen like Vinayak Kohli who are making a difference at the grassroots, but often the fourth-generation fisherman wonders how long this can continue.
When water levels are low, you can see all the garbage. If nothing is done in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll lose everything we've had for generations.